Hello, everyone. It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akashat Zibiri, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just
good to have you.
I'm just
How's your weekend?
Working weekend. So my husband insisted on seeing my mom. I've not been able to go because of that Yanoba Wahala. It's the shortest distance, but he found a way to get us to see her yesterday, and I was just so happy. You know this peace when you finally do see that loved one that you miss, and you've been having every excuse from seeing. So I'm just at peace. And we had Bisola's 1-year birthday party yesterday, and seeing him dancing inside Yala's house.
Please, did you take picture? I've not seen you on social media.
Have you posted it? No, I dare not post it. But I danced with the children. I had fun. It was nice, lovely. And we're just grateful to God for life, family, friends. I'm very grateful.
That's good. Good.
Yes.
How are you doing, Tokwe Makotige?
I'm good.
How is the land and housing going?
Land and housing going very well. I enjoyed my training on Friday. And yesterday was good to have my fellow farmers from Ibadan. They came for a retreat in Lagos, and everybody, all the children were in the house. It was really interesting. When they were going, someone was like, "Are they going? Is another person coming? Other people come?" Because like it was so yes, everybody. It was really, you know, it's nice people that I push people around me. It's good to have someone that would push me also. Like, so what have you done with that land? When are you going to go and check it? When are you going to do that one? So I was defending myself and what I've been doing. And I was happy that I could say I've been doing stuff, you know. So it's good to have someone that puts you on that.
Yes. Friends. That's good. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine.
How are the vultures?
The vultures are doing well. And being the first day of the working week, you know, I always use the beginning of the month to talk about my vultures. So I'm really happy that you just said that. I'm getting to you, Mariah. I'm happy.
And the book, please. We'd like to hear about the book too.
The book is coming on great. We're working on the illustrations, so that's what's taking time. So I did not want the regular digital ones. I wanted something new and fresh and artistic. So it's going to be very interesting. I know that the children would love it, and it's very informative for adults as well. But then again, please save vultures. Do not kill them. They're very important for our environment. They keep our environment clean. Yeah.
What are the owls? You're not concerned about the owls? They kill
Let me finish with the vultures.
Maybe I actually saw a video and I was so moved on Discovery Channel, and it was like tigers are going out of extinction and it might happen in our lifetime, and that we are not doing enough to protect them. People are hunting tigers. I'm going to tell Maria, maybe when she's done with vultures, maybe when we're more conscious,
tigers on them.
There's those owls that they always killing.
Let's deal with the ones with the myth. The ones that have this
owls, they always kill
owls. You know what?
Owls are supposed to be witches.
I cannot be the only one. You can have owls, you can have tigers, you can have butterflies.
So we should share. Mariah, how was your weekend?
My weekend was nice. I finally did my final exam.
Congratulations.
So I'm done with my 2 years.
For the masters.
For my masters.
MBA is still ongoing.
MBA is still ongoing. That one is Switzerland school, but we are working on it. And I'm going to finish my dissertation. It's due tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Like, so I'm just putting today finishing touches, and then send it. It's taken it to external examiners outside the country. It's going to be good.
I really love what you're writing about.
Yeah, right at the topic. Yeah, interrogating social media influencers in the Nigerian electoral process. You know, among young people. So how to see, is there a connection between not social media, the social media influencers themselves, influencing young people to actually participate in the electoral process. So it's an interesting thing I'm doing. But good. So we're going to go on a break now. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. APC, PDP sink deeper into crisis ahead 2023 elections. How to save Naira from Forex backlash by experts. Lady caught with 35 wraps of cocaine. COVID-19, Lagos records 6 deaths and 519 cases in 2 days. Hushpuppi, police begin Kyari probe. Zenith Bank GMD seeks more investments for Africa. And Forex pressure to force Naira's further fall. All right. Which story take, Mariam? Which story do you have in Married Nation?
Okay, I will take the Plateau story. So in Plateau State on Saturday, there was a clash between the Irigwe youths and Fulanis. and it was over land, and it led to about 4 deaths. 50 houses, according to police, were razed, but eyewitnesses say about 100 houses were touched. Police were able to get into the place, and normalcy was returned. Investigations have started. It's really sad because my mom had spoken to me on Sunday when I called her. She was like, I went to church. She said it like she did something extra. I was like, okay. And she said that because there had been rumors going around that people shouldn't go to church, I guess from the backlash of this clash. So we're happy that they went to church and they came back safe. And we hope that security will continue to make sure that peace and calm continues in that area.
Yeah. All right. So how to save Naira from Forex backlash? Remember, the CBN had recently stopped road-assurance from dealing in Naira. And this obviously has caused the same thing that happened back in 2016, where the Naira began to fall. Now we saw over the weekend that Naira came to a 2.5% decline and caused it to be about 525 Naira to the dollar. And they're saying that banks like GT Bank and I think UB and others, and First Bank, have already started to put together a window, provide a window and do a marketing communications campaign, let people know that they can actually access dollars within their banking halls. So they're doing an aggressive campaign for that, and other banks are ready to do that, but they're trying to ensure that there's no scarcity such that the Naira will continue to fall as a result of that. So hopefully we don't have a repeat if first of all, CBN makes enough cash, enough dollar available to the banks, and banks also let people know urgently that they can come get banks and come get dollars without too much delay, which is one of the issues that people have from going to the parallel markets. Any other story in Nation? There was one more story, the Forex pressure. Do you have that story?
Yes, it's still the
same
like
thing.
You just reflected, challenging from the perspective of manufacturers, though, who say they cannot afford 510, 515 to 525 Naira per dollar exchange. Is not feasible. So they are looking to get, and their products, not all their products are available on the list that will get approved by the banks. So they usually depend on road assurance, but now they are all asking that these pressures would pressure Naira to fall further, and they're wondering, because Nigeria is still largely importing, the deficit would affect our manufactured products within the country, and we'll still end up importing more and more. So we should be more holistic. Harmonizing the advice is a broad-based harmonization of our fiscal and monetary policy towards addressing all the identifying structural challenges. So I think that when we try to identify deal with dollar, we're not taking manufacturing into cognizance or agricultural into cognizance. Everything needs to be worked on together.
Moving on to the Punch, parallel congresses, APC threatens to suspend Osun, Kwara, Delta, others, errant members. Quest for money pushed me into concealing cocaine in my underwear, says woman. Estate surveyors reject Fashola's monthly house rent proposal. Man beats Ogun Okada operator to death for refusing him ride. COVID-19 deaths rise by 240%. 310 inbound travelers test positive. Hoodlums looking for hunters attack FRCN Ibadan station. Petrol consumption jumps by 340 million liters in 1 month. And Nigeria's loans from World Bank, Africa Development Bank rise to $14.35 billion under Buhari. Okay, which story are we taking?
So, you have it.
NDLEA?
No, the other one.
Where?
Okay, so the police in Ogun State has arrested a young man who, according to him, did not have killed but his friend died from an altercation that they had. So this was supposedly his friend, and he has an Okada. He had called him the day before to take him somewhere, and that one just refused to take him. So the day after, he confronted him. Why didn't you take me? And then they had an altercation, and suddenly that one slumped and died in his hand. That's his own account of the story. But a report was made to the police in Lagos State, and they found the dead body, and they arrested him as someone who has killed his friend. I'd like that, most of the time we do thorough investigations. If there's nothing to show that he had a premeditated murder, he had planned to kill his friend, most likely something led to what? Maybe the simplest form of manslaughter.
Or maybe we should even check what was the reason for the boy, for the man's death. So if you do autopsy and find out that maybe it was a heart complication, maybe it wasn't the beating, maybe it was something else entirely that led to the death, we might be able to avoid a man getting, because right now this man is just going to...
Nigerian factor.
Okay, let's find another story there.
Let me take the NDLEA. So a lady, Edith Ebere-Okafor, on July 31st, was arrested by NDLEA at the Murtala International Airport on the Côte d'Ivoire Monrovia flight. She had 35 pellets of cocaine stuffed in her underwear. And she says the reason she did it was her desire to make money. And there are other stories. On the 27th of July, there was an Etienne Dujeri Madua Kolam who was caught with cannabis mixed with bitter leaf on his way to Istanbul. But you know what was interesting about this particular man's story is that lots of people were saying, but cannabis is not drugs. I don't know. They caught him, Sha. So maybe for those of you that are listening, I think cannabis is not drug. When they catch you at the airport, they would, they will arrest you. There was also someone, Egbo Osarodion, going to Milan, had tramadol and rofinol. He was arrested. Now, this is what's interesting. NDLEA in Kontagora, on the 29th of July, raided a warehouse where supplies for bandits operating in that area. They had drug supplies. There was a warehouse where they stored their drug supplies. The bandits that operate in that place, they had a warehouse where they store their own drugs. And NDLEA raided that place.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, good job, NDLEA.
I can't miss the picture story. I forgot to mention the Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim and other officials actually inspecting the core members. You know, right now there's Batch B ongoing.
Yes.
So it's going around with the NYSC on orientation camp in Plateau State and amongst others. So it's interesting to see that they are observing COVID-19 protocols and the children seem, so far we've not had any negative reports from the camps, and I think so far we're so good.
I want to take the story of my estate surveyors, our real estate people. The Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers have rejected the monthly house rent proposal of the Minister for Works and Housing. So I think 2 weeks ago, the Minister for Works and Housing came up with the fact that we don't have a 17 million housing deficit, that because there are no data to prove it. And also in that same statement, he mentioned the fact that the exorbitant rent being paid on annual and some are asking for 2 years, 3 years house rent is the reason that might be why we are having housing challenges. And the estate surveyor said they're going to have a meeting with the minister to explain to him that this isn't going to work. I also believe strongly that it is. I used to, as a rental person, as one paying rent, I used to feel that it's not fair. Why should we have to pay one rent? But as a developer, I believe that it takes too long for us to recoup our money because the government isn't in any way subsidizing. I'm a private business owner. I don't want to be the government to my people.
No,
I'm a business owner. I can't use 100 million to build a house, and I have to wait I'll now have to wait for the next 10 years or 20 years so I can recoup my money. If I'm collecting house rent, I get my money in bulk faster than collecting every month in Peters when I used a bulk money to build. So I think the government needs to, same thing we're talking about the forex. We need to take a holistic view. The policies need to involve all stakeholders and hear what they are saying and what their grounds is about.
So
besides,
players involve you consumers as well. So for someone who is on a certain salary base and has to go and loan, maybe towards renting a house at one point, it doesn't make sense. But if you're
by government,
by the government.
No, but if your salary you can take out that amount monthly, there should be that arrangement where you can also take advantage. So if we look at it from developers' point of view,
we have to go on a break, but it's not our hot topic, obviously. But it sounds interesting because now that you're on the other side,
I'm seeing it for the first time.
The person paying rent on one young man.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we go ahead, we just found out today is the 24th anniversary of celebration.
Fella's death.
Oh, Fella's death. I'm so sorry. Why can you send me information now? Oh, Fella's death. Oh, that's true. 24 years that Fella Anikulapo Kuti passed on. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Amen. Moving on now to Daily Sun. 2023 presidency, Atiku begins consultations. Anxiety as doctors begin nationwide strike. Shell names first female MD in 60 years of Nigerian operations. Whoop, whoop. We're monitoring repression in Nigeria, says Commonwealth. Anambra Guba Okonjo rejoins race as ZLP candidate.
Yay.
Abia government uncovers plots to attack, kidnap prominent persons. PDP APC bicker over attacks killings in Ebonyi. Okay, which story are we taking in Daily Sun, Mariam?
Okay, let me take National Association of Resident Doctors are downing tools today. Very sad. And the Medical and Dental Consultancy Association of Nigeria, MDCAN, says they will be joining as well. And the reason for going on strike is, of course, the usual poor working condition, unpaid alarm, arrears and entitlements, poor remuneration, welfare and inequalities. And of course, you know what this means. Many patients are worried. So they say that many patients already have moved from hospitals to the private hospitals because it will mean that there won't be doctors there. And that's a lot more money to be spent, to get treatment. Then cases of emergencies. I mean, it has happened so many times when they're on strike and there are emergencies, we have unavoidable deaths. So this conversation has been ongoing back and forth with federal government. And, these unions have said they are willing and are committed to doing their best and working hard, but all they need is for the government to see to their requests and their demands. And it doesn't seem, from their side, it doesn't seem like the government is willing to do that.
Really sad because most of our government officials have access and they can afford to travel abroad for any medical concerns, while the average Nigerian is stuck with using hospitals that now the doctors are going on strike.
But let's not even look at it from that angle, because I think that's where they always get on the defense. But is it not a simple thing to solve? The issues are clear. Sit at a table and actually address the issue rather than
sometimes they have that conversation. They agree that they're going to make payments and then they don't pay.
So issues with money that they say they don't have money because they're still paying X billionaire subsidy.
If you're in office and you have these conversations over time, you're a political player, a leader, whatever you are, don't you feel ashamed that the problems are still there every year? So
we have this issue, and if government says I don't have money, that please I want to stop paying subsidies so I can have money to do this. And else Labour will now wake up and listen. I'm saying it's not only subsidy. I'm saying everything. The truth is that we must sit down and say what do we want. We can't keep bringing from different mouths of our stock and say 10 sides of our mouth.
Yes.
So the government says I don't have money. Where is the money? They want to stop subsidy. We same people come out and say, no, don't. We can't afford this. They need money. Where else?
They should cut in their
ordinary taxes. Okay,
how much of this?
If they cut salaries, is that going to pay our salaries? Is that going to pay?
You'll be shocked. No allowance.
No, think about it. Let us think about it strategically.
When we have a budget, you do priority. Order of priority. The first thing you sort out is our health sector, our education sector.
So what I am saying
now say we don't have money for it. We don't have money for roads, but they have money for roads.
What I'm saying that from what I've been reading in these papers, if you cut all the salaries of these, how many are they? They're less than 1,000. Even less than 5. It's not going to fix your health sector. It's not going to fix your educational sector. It won't
go far. Because even though they are just 1,000, the amount of money allocated to them in the budget is quite high.
Maybe it's an assumption. Let's move on.
Very much one. We're monitoring repression.
I don't understand.
That's from Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth responding to SERAP's letter demanding that Nigeria be held accountable. So SERAP's Socio-Economic Rights Accountability Project has written to Commonwealth because Nigeria is a member of Commonwealth, allegations concerning the suspension of Twitter and the allegations of repression of human rights and freedom of expression in Nigeria. Now, the Commonwealth has responded to say that they are going to monitor what is going on. The statement was released, it was a letter written on behalf of Miss Scotland by Roger Koratenk, officer in charge of governance, peace and directorate, saying that all Commonwealth members signed to a charter, and they including Nigeria, and they have an obligation and commitment to uphold freedom of expression as one of the core values and principles of the Commonwealth Charter. So we're expecting to see how that will play out, but they say that we've signed to it and we ought to allow freedom of expression in Nigeria. Okay, the point. Olu of Warri, princes go into hiding for safety as lingering feud cast doubt on coronation. How FG lost 750 billion naira to import waivers in 12 months is investigation. High tariff, Nigerians ration power. And court demands man
remands man, 29, for allegedly intimidating Governor Umahi. Major headline, Nima.
Okay, so the coronation of the Olu of Warri due this August, I think 27th, might not hold because there are 2 court cases. Let me just quickly read them. So the oldest child of the Olu of Warri, Prince Oyewole Emiko, is supposed to be the eldest son. He has sued the choice, contending the choice of Omar Shola Emiko as the chosen Olu of Warri and how the act was arrived at, and the court has adjourned for a selected hearing on the 5th of August. But then the Ologoshere, which is Ayire Emami, is also contending in court as ordinarily following the edicts by the Bender state government. He's supposed to be the eldest and most highest chief in Warri Kingdom. But his removal was suspiciously done by the Ginuwa group, and that he's contending that in court and saying, and so the choice of the Omar Shola again is wrong if he, as the highest chief, who is after the Olu of Warri's passing, was not involved in that and he was suspended. So those 2 cases have to be resolved before we know where we are headed. And I think as long as the matters are in court, it's suspicious.
So that's why they've gone into hiding.
So the other sons of the kingdom are also, hiding.
Right. Okay, so some facts have emerged that out of the 1.56 trillion naira revenue, about 780 billion of it is going into, have been lost to waivers actually. And it says that 49% of this amount represents, let me give you the breakdown of the 780 billion. It's not to your uncle. It's the analysis of the report shows that 26% of the waivers were granted for gas oil, 16% for generators, 9% for wire, cable, and other things, copper-related stuff, while 5% was for motor spirits. And also there were about 5 or 6 so countries that also got some of these waivers. China got about 2/3 of most of these waivers. And similarly, Netherlands, Togo, Benin, India are also countries who have benefited from these reliefs. So the country is losing 780 billion. That's part of the money that we're losing.
Like
that we can,
that's like half of what we got last year. So last year we got 1.5 billion. And this is like half of what we would have gotten. And most of it, 2/3 of it went to China. So China already, we borrow money from China. So we're owing China. Then they bring in their tools and things to implement, and then we do
give them waivers.
Probably under a contract.
Under the contract. So like, are we critically analyzing our relationship with these countries to be sure that we are not at a deficit?
You are not making any, if you're not paying any money,
you don't have money,
you just take it.
I wonder the decision makers when they do this.
Moving on to Vanguard, no other story there. Cracks in APC widens. Monthly tenancy estate surveys and Fashola disagree. We talked about that. Abba gridlock, my greatest headache, says acting NPA MD. We are monitoring closely repression in Nigeria, says Commonwealth. Made in Nigerian foods, NAFDAC raises alarm over rejection by US and EU. Government attack Plateau communities, kill 7, raise over 275 houses. Botched appointment, we are not partisan. Our new advisory committee replies laughing. Owners of 30 verified private jets to pay custom duties, says NCS spokesman. Okay, I have that story.
I have the story of owners of 30. It doesn't mean the same story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me just break you, both of you, take a story with the Apapa gridlock story.
Yes.
So the new boss of the MPA, acting capacity, Mr. Mohammed Bello Koko, for what I consider this article to be, he just took a holistic analysis of the issues of the MPA, no news, because he highlighted the problem of the gridlock. Every solution that the former MPA boss has done is what is continuing, and he's saying he has given that mandate, he has collaborated with the Lagos state government, we have included the e-collab system. It was 90 days old when I took over office. I've highlighted the problems and we're working on it. I'm seeing differences and I'm wondering, they replace you with somebody. Magic is supposed to happen.
No, how
so it's supposed to bring solutions.
Something he couldn't do.
It was a woman. They say she did not know.
We always think that
bring somebody
comes with a magic wand.
Mariah, you need to read this article. Read this article.
Okay.
You're just telling us everything I know.
That they are done before.
Yes.
Everything I know about Papa, no news.
I'm also telling you that we can't expect the leader to come and give a magic wand. We, the people, also must be willing to bring. We have to meet them at the table. So our community also must be willing to ask for this change. Another story. I was going to take the
Owners, yes.
the
So the
private jet.
apparently, they were doing the story a few months ago that the customs have said all the private jet owners should register. Out of the 65 private airplanes that were verified so far, 30 did not pay their customs duties. And so those 30 will be made to pay. The information was given to the news agency of Nigeria in Abuja yesterday, and that the temporary importation agreement allowed the owners to bring their jets in without payment.
It's not good.
And now they are going to have to pay. So it was good thing that they got the verification done.
Okay, I was going to take NAFDAC, but told that...
NAFDAC is a major issue, a hot topic.
Why?
It should be because the process of getting NAFDAC verification in Nigeria is very, very...
But that's a different issue. I'm talking about the papers. What the papers are saying is that our foods are being rejected by the US and EU. And NAFDAC is lamenting, saying that the bad image, the rejection of our commodities of Nigeria by EU has caused an embarrassment to the country, so they're expressing concern over the volume of food and agricultural commodities from Nigeria that are facing challenges at entry points of these countries. That's a major issue.
Going back to the challenge of the real problem is that they were not really properly checked before getting the NAFDAC registration, number one. Number two, some of them, they should have shelf life of 6 months and they are stuck in the ports for 6 months. So by the time they get to where
that's
they're
a different conversation. We have to run.
But some talk about NAFDAC, and you remember Dora Queen.
And you remember.
Please.
We didn't get to Daily Trust.
Where Dr. Mojiale is doing work. He's doing a lot of work.
Ali Kachala, the person who can down our aircraft without
Daily Trust.
Wasn't
but
Daily
don't
Trust,
worry,
so
let's just everybody go and read Daily Trust for that story.
we have to run. That's all we can take. Okay, let's go to a break. When we return, we'll discuss other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So President Muhammadu Buhari at the 2021 Global Education Summit made a statement concerning education qualification. According to him, he said, you cannot succeed outside your educational qualification. Now, somehow this has created different kinds of reactions from Nigerians. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Why were people concerned about what he said? Why were we surprised by that statement? You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us. You can send us messages on YouTube. And Nima will be happy to read your tubes and your Facebook messages. Now, so he hasn't said anything different. Of course, we all know that education is paramount to success and that you can't achieve much outside of education. But for some reason, Nigerians are concerned about a few things. Number one, why does our president have to wait to go to the UK to make these kind of statements? And these are the kind of statements you expect him to speak to Nigerians about or tell us continuously, number one. Number two, why is he telling us what we already know? Why is he not saying, why are we not seeing the action of this knowledge at home? And why would somebody who probably didn't take education, possibly didn't take education that seriously, be the one saying this? So people are saying, oh, because there was an issue with the school certificate back and forth with at the time of election, so he doesn't have the moral justification to make that kind of statement. So there are different angles to this, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Like, he's stating the obvious, obviously, but why did this become such a controversy and major conversation on social media and everywhere? Let me come to you. Tope would like to start.
Okay, so before we came on, I was chatting with Mariam that we always complain that when we listen to our leaders and we listen to our government officials, we wonder who are they. We hear them lament. Like, we lament, we ask them questions, and we hear them lament. We wonder who is in charge, because the idea of a leader is to say the solutions, say what you're working on, not to lament that the numbers. The president is not new to Nigeria's population. He knew the population before becoming the president, so he knew that there was going to be problems. The educational sector was already in rot before he got there, so he knew the challenges he was going to meet. My expectation was that going there, he made a promise, because I followed actively his first campaign and I campaigned for him, so I knew education was part of what he was going to do to stem the challenges with this country. But After I came into government, few years after, he was interviewed by BBC and also by Al Jazeera, and I recalled him saying that people traveling abroad for education is because they can afford it, that all fingers are not equal. Some people will be able to afford it, some people cannot afford it, and those that can afford it shouldn't be withheld from getting the best education. So the president apparently understands the importance of education, and he has allowed those that are affluent to get the best outside the country, and he hasn't, for me, prioritized financing education to the best of its of what can lift Nigeria up within Nigeria. Now, he said that nobody can succeed without education. Obviously, education is our ticket out of poverty. That's how we get enlightenment. But how well have you educated people from your state, sir? What has been the improvements in terms of statistics of girl child education across states in Nigeria between when you came into power and now? If the statistics don't favor improvement, then you have failed us with in terms of education in Nigeria, because even with insecurity challenges alone, many people have dropped out of school. Right. So in terms of education, sir, President Buhari, you have failed us. Okay, come to Mariam, your thoughts, because I mean, part of what he said was that he actually pledged to increase the budget. I mean, from that same event. 6 years into government. So they're going to double it. I mean, I think 50% in the next one year, and I think double by
2025 will be 100% increase in the budget towards education. He's done 50% so far. But you know, there's one thing about policy, one thing about numbers, but that does not reflect in reality. So we'll hear these numbers, and yet we'll go around schools in different parts of the country and we'll see rundown facilities, children not in school. Of course, we have the issue of security, where many children in the Northeast are at home or are kidnapped. I mean, we're talking about education today, and we're talking about it alongside many children who have been kidnapped from school. So we really have a major issue. And I would prefer to hear a response that talks about how we're dealing with it, to hear the positive outcome of what we have done so far in real life, not just in numbers, not just in policy. So another thing is, to be fair, I guess the question that was asked of him, maybe they had asked other questions, we would have heard other answers, but the question was, you know, and he was responding to that, and he understands that Nigerians take education seriously. Right. And we also, but many times I always question if the government, many administrations, not this one, even before now, if we're purposely and deliberately sabotaging education because we do not want the electorate to be educated enough to make informed choices when it comes to the election, because in real life it just does not make sense.
I hear that, but you see, if you work around the educational sector, you hear some factors. I mean, this issue of education is pretty layered. So you hear things like there aren't teachers. Nobody wants to go into school and graduate as a teacher. So I can't get quality teachers anymore because nobody wants to teach. The other wants to just do business admin or not.
How do you attract them?
So that's one thing. You even train the ones that are available. You train them, and yet they still don't take that profession seriously. That's one. On one hand, the government has also tried to introduce a school feeding program to even to make encourage and give them incentives to come to school. But the kids come to school, they eat, and then they go back. So there's a lot of vicious cycle going on. So it's pretty layered. I mean, no government would want to see a country not educated. But those layers of issues are so difficult. Let me just give one fact.
The budget for education in 2021 is the lowest budget that has been given to education in 10 years. Fact. So if the president is aware of how terrible the situation is, and yet in this 2021, after 2020, where everybody knew that school system was down, you now create a budget for 2021 and you give education the least amount of money it has gotten in 20 years when it ought to be recovering.
I think the explanation after 2020. COVID, recovery and everything, so a lot of...
Nima, your thoughts on this, because I was going to...
Yeah, I would just say I wash that kind of street language for everything said at that conference. It's almost the same. So once you're in office, you prepare a speech, you go and you give the world, the international players, the impression, I have my country's problems under my hand, or working on it, or doing it is going to happen. So if all the gains we do in education, let's just focus on education, we take one step forward, we take 10 steps backwards. We see the schools, back-to-school program that we planned, the Northeast School, whatever, what was that policy at the time promoted, funds raised. And then we watched the insecurity that got us there in the first place take over so bad that now parents in that region or in the entire North now would rather keep their kids at home and safe than send them to a school and have the better example play now.
Yeah.
Islamia.
You know, the Islamia school in Niger State play now. Parents are afraid to send their kids to school, and we say on a world stage that our intention is to, you know, our problem is the large numbers of Nigeria. We have this and this. These are what no matter the policies you're doing, and I think that government is not deliberate about the policies when it comes to education. Every government, federal particularly, and some state governments do not have a deliberate plan. Because if you put it in plan, people will enter school not with the intention to blow and find the jobs where the highest payers go. They would love to pursue their passion if they think that they will be, you know, commensurated, or whatever motivation they get from, they are expecting from those big jobs will come to their way. So how much do we exactly pay a teacher?
Okay,
what is the level teacher earning? What exactly do they get housing? Do they get, you know, what exactly what incentives do we give them? How do we encourage people to go into the education field?
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're talking about education, and I mean, another angle is the fact that education has always been on the concurrent list, meaning that both the federal and the states can legislate. And many have said that's a problem because education really is local, where you can have state governments can use their resources and allocate resources specifically for education, especially for basic education, you know. And that has been a problem where you have to wait at Abuja. Abuja gives you the curriculum that you want to adopt. Abuja is the one that decides how you allocate certain kind of funds. So these are part of the issues in education. So that's why I said it's multi-layered, and we need a whole disintegration of what we have currently and rebuilding of the educational sector. And when the president used all these rhetorics internationally, it makes you think, is there a plan? It's not about increasing budgets. It's not about that. It's about going back to rethink the entire structure of education in Nigeria.
So one of the current challenges we've been having back and forth for many years, and worse within this current administration, is the strike, the ASU strike. So there's UTAS, there's IPPIS. Between IPPIS and UTAS, between a minister and a group of ASU officials, we are unable for years to agree. For me, it's a case of the president has said the minister sort it out, and the minister has been unable to sort it out. What would happen if the minister cannot sort it out? What would happen if you keep going on strike? Why would somebody have a misfortune of going to a Nigerian university and spend 6 years doing a 4-year course?
Why is it a misfortune?
Why is it a misfortune?
Nigerian universities,
all of you went to. Why is it a misfortune now to go to misfortune to enter a public university?
Thank you for taking us there, Tucker, because if technology is a problem, if ASU is insisting on UTAS, then can we ensure that with the federal government have some access to UTAS? So if you are worried that, they're going to use to manipulate some figures, you to make sure you have access to the back end. I mean, why is it so difficult for them to come to an agreement on UTAS?
For the people and for the people.
By the people, for the people.
It's not, are you not government for the people? So ASU is a select few of the people. You've created a problem-solving app for them. If your people are not the key players there and you don't want to offend them, you want to give them that contract, ASU gave you an alternative that this is what we want to guide us. You take the UTAS, you go back to the table, you look at whatever is missing that is in the IPAPIS and you install it in UTAS and we are floating and everybody's fine and happy.
But why do you sense as an employee? Can you today tell your employer this is the way I want you to pay me?
Unfortunately, when your employers are your elected office holders, you can have say. It is not a private business.
Yes.
It is not your private company where I cannot have say. It is ASU and your federal government.
Besides, NNPC is not on IPPIS. So some subsidiaries, they took them out.
Their own.
Yes.
So take what ASU is giving you, pick whatever is missing from IPPIS and solve the problem. And all of us will move out from that story from the paper. We can read all that things. But every morning we come here, we are reading it again. What's happened? Now they are threatening a strike. They just came back from a strike. People are in school, they don't know when they will graduate. And all you're busy about is sitting at a table every day, both of you fighting, slapping each other. Well, there's no way forward.
Let me take this call, then I'll come to Mariam. Good morning, are you there? Hello? Hello, good morning. Okay, I think we lost that. Go ahead, Mariam.
Okay. So talking about, solving these issues, just this morning we're talking about doctors as well, where it seems that the government will come to a table, have a conversation, and then they leave and forget about the agreement that they came to. So during the World Teachers Day in 2020, remember our president made some promises to teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And a year, 18 months after, those promises have still not been
implemented.
So we had review of their salary scale as well as the retirement age, which was supposed to increase from, I think, 60 to 65 years. Nothing. So that's another thing. You cannot every time have a conversation. That's why we have the words, we have the right English. We say it, we know when to say to a group of people so that they hail us and clap for us. Then when it's time to do the work, we do not do the work. We come out and say there's a process. Maybe you should have finished it before you announced it. So that people, you know, my problem is that it just seems that we're not really interested in doing the work. We're just interested in getting all sorts of adulation and, you know, but to do the work. And the thing is, it will pay us better to do the work. It will look better for an administration to do the work. Wherever you go, that will be your legacy. I mean, if it's one thing that you do, but constantly, everything we do, every sector of our economy, everywhere, everyone's just talking. No one is doing the work.
Let me take this call because I have to wrap up on this. Good morning, Mr. Abba Kyari. Are you there? From Italy. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Mr. Abba Kyari from Italy. Are you there? Okay, so Nima, I think you're
let me do my final words. I remember, and I always quote his manifestos. The president, when he was coming into power, promised us three things. He promised us security. That was going to deal with insecurity. It was going to deal with corruption. Thank you. You know, and those are the first two. And then economy. And the first two things that we'll use as metrics to judge him, if we actually want to judge him, if he wants to be judged, like if we do unbiased, like let's be very, very strict, is F. If there's anything after F, we will get it because things have really gotten worse. And I think when the president gets this information, not as a criticism, but as a feedback for him to re-strategize and rejig his team.
Another thing that we said during the break, and I'd like to say it on air, is that there's the perception that, oh, our president is old, is frail, he does his own system. No, he spoke very well at that conference. He was very articulate. Yes. We heard his English clearly, crisply. So, Mr. President, talk to us.
As in?
We don't want to have that perception that, oh, he doesn't like talking to people. You know, the kind of leadership, he's the kind of guy that empowers his team to do the work. He doesn't, God, talk to us. Like the way this thing you're telling them in the UK, tell us as frequently as you can. We want to hear from you directly.
There's also this part of how posterity remembers you. So I don't understand how it's easy for you to make promises, gather people, make promises, you know, promise to change things, or you don't think things through, you make empty promises that you know you are not going to, you know from the day you are making it, that you know, let them just go, let them just take this one and be going. I don't understand how you do leadership like that. You leave office and people come and remind you that you were the best leader and the thing did not prick your conscience that I knew I was the worst human being to, you know.
So in summary, I think what we're saying is that when our leaders go out to speak or when you address us from the point of what you are doing.
Yes.
Or what you've done.
Yes.
Not say, oh, education.
Don't lament with us. Don't lament with us.
Yeah, don't lament. Lament your private meetings.
We are lamenting
when you talk to us like solution providers.
Yes, exactly.
Not
like
lament,
leaders.
Like
visionary leaders.
Yes, who are doing things. Not that they're lamenting to us. Let us do the lamenting.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, another hot topic, but we have somebody in the building to help us shed some light on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in continuation of our conversation on the controversy surrounding the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, the Inspector General of Police has recommended his suspension. In addition, report has it that there is an ongoing meeting between the FBI and the Inspector General as the Police Service Commission find it strange that a U.S. court would order the arrest of a Nigerian living in Nigeria. Now, what are your thoughts on this? We have our guest in the studio who will be helping us to have shed more light on this conversation. We have with us the Zonal Commander, Lagos EFCC, Ahmed. Ghali, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Morayo.
Yes, good to have you on. Right, so there are many things we'd like to discuss with you, but with this Abba Kyari issue, yes, we saw the FBI report, and a lot of Nigerians are finding it quite weird that the U.S. court can order the arrest of a Nigerian citizen in Nigeria. That's one. And this is somebody that is a super cop to us. This is one of our treasured gallant officers. Even he's the one that is feared by all the kidnappers and all the criminals that we have in Nigeria. He's highly feared. So are we willing to hand him over? This is somebody we respect. Hand him over to the U.S. court for prosecution.
Morayo, thank you very much. The issue of Abba Kyari, as we all know, Abba Kyari is a serving police officer. And yes, he has a very good track record. He has been doing well, as you rightly said. So the latest development for the commission, we are still studying it, rather.
Right.
And now it's entirely within the purview of the police to look at the request that FBI made to them. And as a commission, we too are studying it. At the right time, if there is any role that we are to play, we will definitely do that. But for now, I think what I will only say is we are studying the situation as a commission.
Okay, people would ask that why did we have to wait on the FBI to unravel this? Because we have a report, it shows conversations and everything. How did it pass over the EFCC? Did you see anything like this? Were you suspicious of anything? Does this report look like something you are already working on and had suspicions concerning the person of the DCP?
Well, I think I haven't seen the report in details, but whatever it is, I think their allegation happened to be outside our jurisdiction. So we don't have to monitor what happened outside our jurisdiction. Right. All these things that they are alleging happen to be not in the country.
Oh, no. I really, sadly, I wish you had actually seen the report, because the particular one that they referred to for the DCP happened within Nigeria. It was just a case of him arresting someone, or was arresting someone on behalf of someone. So it's...
No, purely apart from criminal.
Arresting a friend.
We have another criminal.
Yes, arresting a criminal.
No, let me just also put it in perspective. This someone that we're talking about is someone that, Hushpuppi, is someone that has been monitored by FBI for internet fraud, for the sort of things that EFCC looks into, financial and internet fraud. So I was wondering why that, if he ever came before your, before your radar, it was someone you were investigating, and investigating him, did you see the relationship with the DCP?
You see, the issue of Abba Kyari's involvement in Hushpuppi, that's what I'm talking about. Hushpuppi, yes, of course, we have been investigating Hushpuppi, and we work together with FBI in so many instances, not only Hushpuppi, and so many other criminal cybercrime suspects. But Abba Kyari's involvement as to whether he was an accomplice or accessory or conniving or conspiring with Hushpuppi in one way or the other, that's not what I can say clearly.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. All right, we have to go on a quick break, but let me just take one more question. Yes, go ahead.
What your relationship is like as an institution with the FBI. Reason is because we see the FBI do investigations, and up till the arrest, like Abidemi Rufai, the SSA on housing, former SSA on housing to the Ogun State governor, and the way they waited and picked up a Nigerian. Do you work with like them, or do you also investigate how people who live this lavish lifestyle, do you, without a petition, without somebody reporting or giving you, do you investigate what the source is, such that you question every source of means of a Nigerian to be sure that everybody living large, as long as it's legitimate, can do so. Do you work with them, you know?
Yes, sure, we do. We always try to investigate without even any petition. We can cause an investigation into a lifestyle of whoever appears to be like kind of having some sort of lavish lifestyle that is not commensurate to his legitimate income. We don't have to wait for a petition. And our relationship with FBI, yes, we work together. We have this international collaboration. He's our partner. We work together for long, and we have achieved a lot of results. They helped us with information. We also help them with information. And we have to do that to achieve our mandate.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, sir, I'm happy that you mentioned that you have a right as an institution to look into lavish lifestyle of anybody and investigate the source of their income. Because we've had several reports. There was even one in particular, an actress, a producer of a movie, who said that she woke up to an attack. And she felt that it was robbery, only to later find out that it was a sting operation into the hotel where she was staying. And being a producer, they were shooting a movie in that area. She slept over in the hotel room, and it just burst into her room in the morning. This have also been reported by other people that hotels are being harassed. Exactly what is EFCC doing, breaking into...
Yes, what's the modus operandi?
Yes,
Just going to get the search warrants, or what exactly
hotel rooms and meet people sleeping in the hotel to...
Tope, I thank you very much for this question. We are always laying some kind of surveillance before striking.
Okay.
That's one. And yes, we normally go to hotels and other places that after due surveillance and then gathered intelligence, credible one for that matter, go and then effect the arrest of the suspected criminals that are hiding there, perpetrating criminal acts. So the instance you are referring to, I think if I remember very well, it was a few weeks ago in one hotel. And we always, when we are in a place like that, we have to work together with the owners of that place, whether operational manager, or somebody there. And then we will seek for their consent. First thing that we will do is we will identify ourselves and explain to them our mission. And then we normally used to have a MasterCard of all the rooms. But before opening any room, we must be sure there is the person, the suspect that is into that. We have our devices that will confirm to us, yes, now that's what we intercept, the correspondences, and then the exchange, and then confirm that, yes, something is going on, computer-related fraud here. That is how we will open. And then when you open, definitely one thing that you must do quickly is to ensure that the person does not destroy the evidence there. Don't allow him to do that. And he can do that in a second. So you have to quickly go after that person, especially the laptop, the device, whether phone, whatever that he is using to do that fraud, get it. And then you will move on. So
this particular case where the lady...
is there possibility where you enter wrong rooms? Is there a possibility that you enter?
Well, I don't have a detail of exactly that particular
there cases of wrong rooms.
But all those that we will find in that places, normally that will enter their room, you will see they are positive. We will establish all that they are doing. Remember, I mentioned that before we open, we must ensure that we intercept some kind of emails that they are sending.
Okay, let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll stay on this for a moment. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the Zonal Commander, Lagos EFCC, Ahmed Ghali, with us. So we're talking about busts from your group. When we watch international content, we see that they have body cams, when they go into these busts and, at least as evidence of what happened. Does your team have such that if people are complaining or making a case of discrimination or saying that they were actually harassed, they can have some kind of evidence to show that they went in legally?
Sure, of course. We always record our operations. And don't forget that we are there to gather evidence. And we normally have that on record. We go with our devices and with our also media people to cover the whole operation. Right. So we have that, and we normally keep that. And whenever there is need for it to refer to it, we do so.
Okay.
Talking about media, sir, many times here we complain about how it seems that we do media trials. You have suspects, you parade them, and sometimes it does not look like a proper investigation has been done. Me and the police and the EFCC, we're all together investigating it on the media. Why do we do that?
Mariam, always this media trial, there is nothing like media trial as far as our work is concerned. All what we try to do is maybe to sensitize or to let people know on some kind of developments, but not really trying to try people on media. Not at all. There is nothing like that. What is media trial? How?
No, sometimes we have young people just paraded and said, we caught them with, then they'll be holding laptops. Yes. We caught them with laptops, things like that.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some issues of deterrence and trying to be proactive without really disclosing the identity. When you look at it, we normally parade in some situations, maybe without really capturing physical appearance. Maybe they will back the camera, and then we will snap them, for just people to be deterred, see what will happen to you. When you look at the rate at which this crime is moving, the way our youth are getting involved.
Still on media, though, there was the Koyi Gate, and we saw the videos, money is counted and everything, and give us an update on that. How much was done, investigation was done? Is there been a prosecution, the money is recovered,
Well, that was long ago.
Yes.
I think, yes, but just as I mentioned, we cover our operation, and that's one instance of that. And yes, I think the matter is in court, and arraignment had been forestalled maybe because of some challenges that the suspect had not been available. I think we have already declared him wanted, and in as much as we have him available, we will move on.
Let me take this call from Bolaji. Bolaji, are you there? Bolaji, you're live. Go ahead, please. Hello? Bolaji, you're live. Go ahead, please. Okay. Yes.
So I wanted to take us back to, Economic Financial Crimes Commission. It covers beyond cybercrime, and in the beginning of EFCC, it was like people felt it was a witch hunt against opposing politicians, but they were really going for the politicians. And we still know that largely we see politicians, we see them before they go into election or electoral office, and as they enter into this office, they just change their house, change their car, buy all sorts of things. And we thought that EFCC would go after politicians, 7 politicians. But it seems that we see the muscles of EFCC more effective against cybercrimes and Yahoo boys.
The muzzle is just across the board. Mariam, in 1 hour, you can establish a case of cybercrime. It's a very straightforward case.
Okay.
With a possession of 1 scam mail, you can charge and convict. But when you come to politicians, their case is more complex. Yes, it has to do with public funds and some kind of money laundering. Imagine the complexity in that. So it will take you a year or more for you to establish that. So that is why you see immediately you can conclude a case of a cybercrime, and charge it while you are still on that politician.
I want to
And
just
you must have your case established before you
Can you
engage.
share-
What's the success rate of prosecution of
politicians? Can you share a
Yes,
few
because we've seen
names
a few
that you are proud of?
There are a lot of challenges there. The success rate, yes, we are succeeding, but I'm talking about the
poor.
challenge, the rate at the pace at which it will move.
No, I'm looking
slower.
at the final results now. So let's say we have
many convictions have you
Ghali
gotten?
Ahmed's case, for instance, he got an acquittal. How did he arrive at that when we thought we had a clear EFCC case against him? Now we have the Saraki's invitation, and it's looking like it might just end up the same way.
Well, you have to consider all things together, the circumstances. Of course, there are lawyers that are on the defense counsel for the politicians, which maybe cyber crimes may not afford them. So we will do our best. Of course, they will also do their own. Then finally, the court will decide. In fact, the muzzles we even put on these politicians is not even half of it that we put on the cyber crime.
Let me take this call. John, are you there? Thanks for calling. Hello, John.
Yes, good morning, Moraya.
Okay.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Moraya. I can hear you.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good morning, Moraya. Okay. Though I was just...
If you can increase the volume a bit, I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
I just switched on my telly to... I was hearing you talking about the... Abba, this guy, how do they call it? Hushpuppi. So I wanted to... I don't know if your guest can, can tell us a bit about Hushpuppi, because I know since the last time they arrested him, we've not heard anything about him.
Okay, we've actually talked about it earlier. Since you just switched on your TV, we spoke about Abba Kyari earlier. And the truth is, I mean, I was going to come back to Abba Kyari in a minute, but I want to also finish up on this matter. But we will touch on Abba Kyari issue in a minute. But
what we wanted is, like, some people are watching now and they're thinking EFCC has no high-profile, successful political prosecution. Can you give us a few examples to remind those watching?
You already mentioned one, and we have a couple of them. But the issue is we are all in court, and we are moving. The pace at which you will expect high-profile case to move will not be possible with the way you will move with cybercrime cases. And like one that we have already finished after 14 years, we are to start de novo again.
Yeah, then there's also the problem where it seems...
So there are a lot of challenges there.
There's a question on Facebook.
Wait, let me let Mariam answer the question. I want to connect to this.
Okay. So, many times we have EFCC come and say to us, we have caught this person, he's in court, and it looks like a done case. And then next thing, you'd hear lawyers for the prosecution, for the defense comes in, and all of a sudden the person goes scot-free. Meanwhile, in the beginning, EFCC is able to tell us, this is what we caught the person with, this is what we have investigated. Would you say that one of your challenges could be that the influence that these politicians still have within government? Could that be one of the reasons slowing your case?
No, not at all. Judicial process is not only about EFCC. When EFCC believe has a good case and then take it to court, and then it's the court that will now decide.
Yeah, but that was actually going to be my question. It seems as though EFCC doesn't have an airtight evidence-based case, number one. You don't have good prosecutors enough to ensure that these people are put behind bars, because they come with all the best lawyers. I mean, they're flying people from the SANS. They have a whole truckload of SANS coming to the court, and EFCC is almost helpless. So the question, therefore, is that as a system, do you have that airtight before you go to the media? So,
Marayo, I think you are not really considering some kind of isolated cases.
Okay.
We have watertight cases. 80–90% of our cases, we succeed in them.
Okay. For example?
Yes, we succeed in how many that we have convicted. We are talking of 1 or 2 that we are starting de novo again. Even that one had been convicted. Don't forget, it's just on appeal. And then based on some kind of administrative rules, that they reverse the conviction.
Right.
Not because of the substantive case.
Right. Gotcha.
So we have our watertight cases, and our rate of success are 90%.
Right.
But of course, we cannot be 100% perfect.
Certainly. Let me take Bolaji and I'll come to you, Nima. Bolaji, are you there? Hello? Good morning, Bolaji, are you there? Okay, I lost that call. Yes, Nima, go ahead, please.
Bale Olusegun says, if the U.S. can arrest a Nigerian in here, can we, Nigeria, arrest in the U.S.? I can remember the petroleum minister that went away with huge money and we were told she's now living abroad. So no Nigeria can arrest her because she's overseas. If he's guilty, he should face his judgment in here. So the question is now, what has been with Diezani's case, and why do you have that relationship where you can come into a country and, issue an arrest, or do you partner with those countries so that they extradite a citizen of Nigeria who has questions to answer here?
I think if we get it right, they are not saying they will effect the arrest themselves. They are like requesting for our authorities to effect the arrest.
Yes.
So it's a different thing.
Have you done the same thing?
Can you do the same?
Sure, of course. We have been requesting.
You've been requesting.
Extradition and things like that.
So what are the things
Yes, we have our laws, they have their laws. So if we have to get somebody in their jurisdiction, we have to go through them. And if they have to get somebody in our jurisdiction, they have to come through us.
Okay, so before you came on, we had discussed the fact that one of the cardinal promises of our president was to end corruption. And it was important for him. And in your own overview of the fight against corruption and corruption fighting back, how would you assess those challenges with fighting corruption? Because it's like we keep talking about this over and over again. That cycle continues where you try to arrest some, others are stealing. It's like there's no end.
Do you feel the body language of this current administration? Because I know you've served other administration has favored this fight against corruption as well.
Let us look at it this way. Yes, from inception of the commission to date, we have been making arrests, prosecuting, and then, of course, as if the number is increasing. But one thing that we are now doing different, especially with the present leadership of the commission, is to see that we are looking at preventive measures.
Okay.
In as much as you are fighting it, at the same time, you have to try and block maybe the leakages. You have a room. Then nobody will enter again. So by the time when you learn these are the ways people are using, or these are the kind of control that can be put in place to make it difficult or impossible for people to perpetrate some kind of corrupt practices, then it will be effective. And that's what I think we are doing now. Okay. The second thing is the will.
The will.
The political will, which more than ever before, we are enjoying that.
Oh, okay.
So definitely the fight against corruption is getting more strong.
Let me take this call from Bolaji because some people are asking if there are some untouchables. But let me come to Bolaji. Are you there? Hello, Bolaji. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Oh. Keeps getting back through. Interesting.
Hello, Bolaji. Are you there? No, I want to take my time. Bolaji, are you there? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Go ahead, you're live, please. Go ahead.
This is my first call.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm there. The next talk is next talk. I'm there. Good morning. Yeah. My name is Balaji from Ebutemeta. I live in US for a long time. Yeah, I live in US for a long time. I've been in US for a long time. And funny enough, I did time in US. I did like 4 years in time in US. Never sell out your brother.
the personal.
I think he said it never sell out your brother was the last word I heard from him.
Okay, yeah.
I want to ask you this question. He said, somebody asked, how much does it cost to submit a petition and get approval for investigation?
Zero cost. Tope, we don't charge receiving petition at all. We don't even charge investigating your petition. If there is any need for us to even travel in the course of investigating your petition, government will be at the force.
So, this is different from, you know, police also would say this, but we know in police force, you need to, because of the
mobilize.
You need to mobilize.
That's where I wanted to go, because the truth is, listen, and that's one of my grouse against those who are speaking against Abba Kyari today. Because what Abba Kyari did is the average Nigerian practice. It is wrong.
Alleged to have done.
It is wrong, alleged to have done. It is wrong, we know, but there's a Nigerian factor as a big man. Somebody stole your laptop. Somebody stole what you call the police, the nearest police that you know. Please come and arrest my houseboy. Come and arrest my driver. Come and arrest this. And the big man, it happens. So some people find it quite hypocritical that Nigerians are now all over pinpointing Abba Kyari for something we know that all of them do the same thing. So my question, therefore, just to add to what Tope had said earlier, what is the right thing to do? When you see an issue, do you send a petition to you saying, okay, this person has stolen my money?
These are
right?
details.
These are the details, and do you go and automatically arrest, or do you go through an investigation? How long is the investigation supposed to run through before there's an arrest made? What exactly is the right procedure? Nigerians know.
Yeah, can I also just add the whistleblower policy? A lot of us are wondering if that still exists.
It's still effective, and it's still on course, and we urge people to still come forward with information. Recently, you are aware, we have even launched an app, Eagle Eye, through which people can even report cases. So for you to even show that the procedure of our petition is not even necessary that you have to come physically with the petition, because you're present, if not because of information that you still give us, and then further substantiating of all the allegations therein, we don't even need to see you. We don't expect any other thing apart from information from you. So government provides the resources and everything.
So the arrest that happens, is that legal? Is that the way that you can actually get somebody arrested, someone who has wronged you arrested?
Arrest, if you have a reason for that, you have allegation against somebody, and you verified it, you establish that allegation, you want that person to come and respond to it, or investigate him for that, with a view to establishing the veracity or otherwise, yes, you can go ahead and invite him or arrest him.
So this is where my own concern. I've actually been through the office of the EFCC in Lagos, and I didn't pay anything.
Thank you.
At the point of investigation now, if you find a person free of something, does the person just come into the office, clear his name, after investigation, you carry out, maybe let's say we're tracing the money, for instance, and it has been through a POS, and this POS is now being investigated, you know, and the person comes and he shows his legitimacy of his business and everything, and, you know, innocently, maybe the transaction passed through him, but this was not something he was involved in for, you know, so does he just come, clear his name and go home? Or, you know, we start to have a Vincent kind of holding on or something?
No, you see, that is investigation. It's either way. Your investigation, the findings will either establish the allegation or debunk it. So if that allegation is established, then you will go to the next thing. You will go to court. If it's negative, you have not established anything, then that's it. You will terminate the investigation.
Okay, let me take this call. I've been holding for a while. Good morning, Ebuka. Are you there? Hello, Ebuka. Hello, good morning, Ebuka. Are you there? Go ahead.
Okay.
I have an issue.
Okay, so I also wanted to add, a lot of people, too many times we see these different types of internet cyber crimes, like children are involved, young children in secondary school. It's just as if there's a pandemic of people just doing this. Why is it so easy for them to pick up a laptop and do it? Why does our environment encourage it? Does it allow it for them to do it so easily and get away with it? Why do we have such a widespread?
Certainly, our society, so to say, in one way or the other, if not encouraging it and not doing anything to stop it. You will see somebody in an area, in the morning, he will be begging for what to eat for breakfast, but in the afternoon, he has a brand new Mercedes, or evening. And then the neighbors, his parents, everybody is not asking questions. So, yes, it's something that is very worrisome, and we have to do something about it. Otherwise, before you know it, all our youth will now channel their talent instead of using the talent for deleterious attitudes necessary for the development of the nation to this kind of vices.
But is EFCC partnering with community leaders? Because the truth is that you can't do it alone. You can't walk into a community and just say you want to arrest. Because, so are they, if you're partnering with community leaders, what feedback are they giving you? Because what are those things that is causing? Because there has to be a root cause of these things. Yes, we know poverty is one of it, but what options, what are you doing to work with the community leaders to help your work, such that young people don't go into these crimes?
We are doing a lot, not only community leaders and NGOs, CSOs, religious bodies, and all the stakeholders, even media. We are engaging them, but we still have to do more. You are right, we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone, and it's something that is very serious. All hands must be on deck. So we will do more.
Is there anything tech-wise that EFCC is trying to put in place or has already put in place so that when these things are being perpetrated, there's like an alarm that goes off before there's a victim? Or at the point of where they try to get it, so that it does not take many years before you finally catch up to this person? I'm just...
No,
like... Is there any technology that we're working with or we're trying to work on?
Of course, there are some kind of devices that, as I said, when we are mounting surveillance, it will be intercepting kind of scam correspondences. Yes, sure. And another thing is through the bank accounts and things like that, where the proceeds will come in. There are some kind of suspicious channels that you will monitor and analyze, and then see, yes, there is every likelihood these are proceeds of XYZ. So there are so many ways that we are on it, but as we are talking about the volume, the rate at which is much.
Okay,
so
sir.
we have to really...
Can I bring you back to our politicians?
Yes,
if somebody is watching this show now and they know they want to blow a whistle, like they feel that they have suspicious affluence. You know, we just concluded our local government elections, and we have new chairman, LCDA, new councillors, and we feel like, this is our councillor. We know when he got there, and now he has bought a new house, he has moved
to Banana Island.
Yes, how can somebody, because it's not like they want to report the person, but they just want you to question without having to come to the office and be doing, what can they do? How can they point the finger?
They can go anonymously. They can write without really indicating their name, their address. But the most important thing is that what they are writing, the information they are giving, must be a credible one.
So they must write that they bought the house, where the house, and all of that.
Exactly. So they can do anonymous. And then we have our Eagle Eye app. They can just go online using their phone, download the app, and then they will report it.
But do you have enough manpower? Because how many of these petitions do you get in a day? Like how many? Give us an idea of how many petitions you get in a day.
Well, averagely, let me say we can get close to 50.
We're not doing enough.
We're not doing
in a day.
So Nigerians,
we're not talking.
Stop using Twitter and using
they call it not minding your business. But do you do a carrot and do you do carrot approach for some, stick approach for some, where you finally get someone, the thing has gone viral. There was a popular influencer at one point who was picked up by the EFCC, and young girl, very young girl, we were all pitying the case, and then now she's finally back. She's just okay, you know. And then we had the sports Amadupini case as well. Is it that you for some, you just bow one way and say you can go.
Just correct them.
Not at all. I think we are treating all cases based on its merit. There is nothing like carrot or stick. It's just whether person has a case or has no case. If there is no case, there is no case. But if there is case, definitely there is case.
One of the key factors that has encouraged criminality is the fact that ammunition gets around somehow. We'll be talking about following the money. EFCC, can you categorically tell us if you are able to track monies? They pay bandits money, for example, and some of them use this money to buy ammunition. Is there a way, is there a system that can actually allow us to know where these monies are going? I mean, I know it might not be your own area, but the truth is that I need to have an idea, the kind of technology, the kind of intelligence that the Nigerian government is using. Do we have the capacity to be able to trace money that Nima paid Mariam as a bandit, and if it's being used to buy ammunition, or we can trace it to the governors? I mean, do we have those kind of systems in place in this
Mariah,
country?
you know, we may not say some things on air.
Okay.
But suffice to say that terrorist financing is one of the things that we are handling. Money laundering and terrorist financing. And of course, there are machineries in place that will be tracking these things. And then definitely, whenever we establish something like that, we go head on.
Are you sure? We've not seen anybody go head on to anybody. With this your new young boss, I mean, he seems like a young guy, but he seems very energetic. I would like the fact that, but does he have the action? I don't know, the action to take, because facing these kingpins, these money launderers, it's not easy. Does he have the lion's heart for it?
Yeah, you know, it's the laws, not the person. We have our laws, and then we are working within the ambit of the laws. So we are trying our best to enforce it, as I said. Money laundering, terrorist financing is something that we are handling. And then definitely there are machineries in motion, and then we are of course we are doing something about it.
So, I know
even though you may not.
I want to be sure I have an answer.
Okay.
Do you today? You don't have to tell me the answer, the person, but do you today have links or have direct names of people who are actually funding terrorism in this country? Yes or no?
Besides the ones from that, the Arab Emirates released to us.
Do you have
that they have?
Yeah. Do you have names of people funding terrorism in that country?
Definitely, we cannot say they are funding. Suspected, maybe we can leave it like that. Definitely, we may have one or two that may be suspected to have been funding, whether in their own name or using the corporate name or something like that, without narrowing it to an individual, using the account in the corporate name.
So sir, we've heard some reports that the alleged corrupt politicians or politicians answering cases in the courts come with lawyers, san. When they come to courts, it's very imposing, and that the EFCC, according to the reports we've seen, don't have the kind of caliber of lawyers that the people on the other end can afford.
So they intimidate
they intimidate EFCC lawyers, and the EFCC lawyers are now, and then there are always this perpetual injunction. They know how to manipulate the law, and it seems the EFCC lawyers don't know how to respond to the manipulation of the senior lawyers.
Well, I don't know, Tope, the intimidation you are talking about. And then the lawyers, and yes, whoever is entitled to lawyers can take it. But the issue is very simple. Do you have your case? Yes, we have. And then can you prosecute it and convince the court that, yes, you have a case, and for the court to judge in your favor? Yes, we have. So whether you are SAN or you are not SAN, that's not the issue. It's about the facts and what you submit
have to acknowledge that the SANs, they know how to.
Yes, but I could recall there is a matter that we are handling. Out of more than 10 or so SANs, one of our young lawyers did it very well.
Okay. Let me take your question and I'll go to on Facebook.
Maybe we should have to ask an off-the-record question. So, if you are a super cop, for instance, and something comes out from a clear investigation done and an arrest warrant has been issued from a court in another country, the first thing you do is to go to your Instagram page and try to explain yourself, or is there a process within the service? I'm talking about the Police Service Commission now, where you, just a minute, Morayo, is it okay? This is not, from your personal opinion, is it okay would you write an Instagram post explaining, indicting yourself, or would you just keep quiet and answer the matter in court?
What's the right way
to go? As personal opinion, Ahmed Ghali now, not Police Service Commission. Of course, I cannot even talk for Police Service Commission, and not certainly even EFCC. If you have a situation like that, it's better to respond to it proper channel, not Instagram. Not Instagram.
That is your own positive. If you ask me that question, me, I'll go to Instagram, because the truth is that, you see, the point is that this is a man that we've all celebrated. This is a man, he feels like all Nigerians this explanation. So maybe that's why he felt that need to talk to us. So if you don't like it, that's your business. But me, I appreciated he came up, although I appreciated that he spoke up, although
did you appreciate
I didn't listen.
No,
I didn't appreciate the fact that
text, the details.
Let me finish now. Let me speak English now. I did not appreciate the fact that he said that they went to go and give him money. But the context, I did not appreciate, because I thought that was wrong. But the fact that he felt, listen, I owe you guys some kind of explanation, I thought that was important.
I didn't think he felt he owed. I think he felt he owed himself.
Okay, there was a question I wanted to ask you.
There
was a question I wanted to ask you concerning, somebody had said recently, somebody attended a party, and he said that he was advising young people that, listen, make enough money, so that you can, so that EFCC will not come. Because you have to, inadvertently, he was saying that if you're going to have money, have plenty, so that EFCC will not come and find you.
There's another angle to
interpretation is that if you want to steal money, steal enough, such that we'll sort people like Mr. Ghali out, so that he won't come to our party. I'll just say, Ghali, don't worry, just send me your account number, I send you, be all right. So that kind of money, you won't come and see, you even come and hang out with me at my parties.
Well, I think it is very wrong for that. The way you make that money is just what's the issue here. You know, there is no shortcut to wealth and fame. Whoever achieve that through shortcuts, at the end, it will be a misery and there will be consequences in the end. And that money will not help him. As far as EFCC is concerned, your money will not help you.
Can you explain to us, when they catch people like Hushpuppi who have acquired so much money through shortcuts, what happens to that wealth? Are they left with nothing at all? Are they make sure they give everything? Or they just go to prison for 10 years and then come back and continue enjoying their wealth?
No, not at all. Whatever is traced and established to be a proceed of crime, especially linked to that offense, must be forfeited. 100%. Definitely. 100%.
So Hushpuppi, after 20 years, he's going to, he'll probably come back to nothing.
But
whatever he has, if it is a proceed of crime, definitely.
Okay, please, I want to, before, because I know we're almost out of time, I just remember that there were allegations that were to Abba Kyari, though, that, but generally to the police force, that they confiscate properties pending investigation. After the investigation, if the person is acquitted or they found no strong evidence against that person, what happens to those properties? How does it get back to the persons? Because we hear stories of he never got back to them.
You know, this in the interim, you forfeit. And then final determination of the court or investigation will now determine the position of that property. If, of course, it has to go back to the owner, having not been seen as a proceed of crime, of course, it will be returned back to the owner.
The one that does not go back, does it go into EFCC coffers or it goes to the government, TSA? Where does that money go to? Like all
there is not any EFCC coffer. It's only government, CBN.
Okay.
So we have our own recovery account. And this recovery account is in CBN. Whatever is finally recovered as proceed of crime will go into that account and go to CF.
So in every organization,
revenue funds.
In every organization, there are always bad eggs. So you go somewhere, you see $1 million. The people do us, EFCC quickly started pocket a few $100,000, and then go and submit $500,000, $500 million. You know, you pocketed a few. I mean, you have those situations, and how have you been able to address it?
Well, Mariam put it straight. Do you have bad eggs?
Yes.
I wouldn't say no. We are not perfect. We may have. But whenever we see one, definitely we don't spare that person. And up to now, we have not seen an instance where people pocketed something in the course of doing that. If we have that, definitely we will take action. We will keep on sanitizing, improving, and warning our people to be above board.
But are you well paid? Let me come to that because because Abba Kyari, I mean, I'm one of those people that I really celebrated Abba Kyari, and I almost try to see where he's coming from. Like, listen, this is a man that he's been decorated. They're giving him all these plaques, all these emblems, and all that. But he might not be financially rewarding. I mean, so people like that are attracted to people like Hushpuppi. They go, oh, don't worry, I'll arrest you for you because I know I will get something. So those incentives kind of encourage people to go into those kind of, it doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that in that situation, are people well paid for the jobs that they are doing? Because these are attractive.
I will answer you this way. Because well paid, I don't know your degree of well paid. Yes. But what I will say is there is not any EFCC staff that I think will complain of payment. We don't have any reason to complain. We are happy with our payments. We are contented with it.
Regular?
We don't have any reason, and regular, as at when due. I can't remember from the day I joined the commission up to today, having 1 month and then second month came in without getting paid. We are contented, we are happy, we have no reason to complain about payment.
Yeah. Okay, please, so, I have this question, because, sir, as an officer, and many high-ranking officers, powerful men would want to lobby you.
Yeah,
they would want to be your friends because they feel like
what's going on?
Yes, I want to have the commissioner at speed dial.
Yes,
I want to have
IGP.
I want to have the IGP at speed dial. It shows I'm powerful. How can a man in the force maintain his integrity amidst that level of lobbying of people around?
Well, you see, that's very simple thing, which I remember our chairman always used to tell us. Try to separate your personality and your person. Yes, Zonal Commander EFCC, that's the one people will always be interested in. But not Ahmed Ghali, my person. So whenever you see people trying to friend you, it's not you they want to friend, it's your personality, it's the office. So you will not be carried away with that. And always what you look at, what will be your watch thing is that your work. Why are they even trying to friend you? What are they telling you? What do they want? Very important. So I don't think there is any big deal there.
Do you believe that a politician, a very rich citizen can be good friends with a high-ranking police officer and it will not compromise their work?
Yes, of course, can be a good friend without compromising.
How is that possible?
Yes, of course. If somebody is telling you do the right thing, even if he is coming up with a request, when you look at it, all what he is saying is, of course, something that is doable, right, reasonable.
There won't be bias.
Are you friends with politicians in Lagos? Okay. Are you friends with politicians in Lagos?
I don't even know one.
Would you attend the party?
May I?
I don't.
Are we talking
in our jurisdiction? You don't know the politicians here.
Are we talking to our youth enough? Are we going to schools and having so? Sure. We don't want EFCC to only be the first time you meet EFCC is when you're interested. Are we talking to our young people going to schools, speaking to them about EFCC and the role
directly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mariam, we do that. We receive them even in our office, secondary school,
inspection
students, exactly, they come. We always reach out, NYSC people on campuses.
Let me take a few comments and we run off.
Just this one comment because it's in diaspora and I know you already answered. Olayinka Babafemi says, how do we report corporations that we in the diaspora invested in and for years they've embezzled our hard-earned money because we are not around, they refuse to pay return on investments.
Yes. I hope they are not this kind of Ponzi schemes.
No.
There are a lot of
these are Nigerians who are investing legitimately. Can they write you, send a petition to you directly from abroad?
Of course, they can do that.
How do they get you?
Sure. We have our emails.
Okay.
We have
Eagle
our
Eye
Eagle
will-
Eye.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so
We
you
have
can reach-
our
What's the
email.
email,
We have
please?
our Eagle Eye.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll have to reach you. It's important. It's an important question because
Yes.
Nigerians.
There are many.
I mean, when you get 50 complaints per day, that's small.
Yes.
Let's double it up. Let's make at least 200.
Don't just complain in your house. Don't complain on social media. Make it formal.
Yeah, send a mail to.
Credible
Please.
complaints.
Yes.
Credible
Download
complaints,
the
yeah.
Eagle Eye app. EFCC,
I
and
hope you are
send
guaranteeing you
credible
protect
complaints.
witnesses.
Sure.
So you can
100%.
send it.
Thank you very much, sir. We have to run.
Absolutely. Thank
So
you
how
very
was the
much.
interview? I know in the beginning you're like, were you okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
You had fun.
All right, that's all we've taken the show. We've been speaking with the Zonal Commander, Lagos EFCC, Ghali on the show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.